consensus effect is the effect according to which people tend to believe that a higher proportion of the population agrees with them than is the actual fact. And you can demonstrate this false consensus effect by asking questions to people such as, how many percent of people do you think have this or that opinion? And then you ask the same person, and what is your own opinion on this? And you will find that the people who have a certain opinion think that a higher percentage of the population has the same opinion as them than the people who have the opposite opinion. So we can try that out with our guinea pigs.
In the European population, what do you think the percentages of people who have blue as their favorite color?
Around 15%.
15.
Yeah.
Is blue your favorite color?
No.
Yes.
So favorite is 20%.
20%. Is blue your favorite color?
No. On many, the proportion,
Yeah.
blue is a favorite color. 22%.
Is blue your favorite color?
No.
Oh, I think that's a high percentage.
High?
Yeah, very high percentage. I would go something like 70%.
70%.
Yeah.
Is blue your favorite color?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have seen among our 4 guinea pigs that Yvonne prefers blue, and she thinks that 70% of the people also prefer blue. Eskild and Anne-Christine and Mark don't like blue, and they think that only 15, 20 or 22% of the people prefer blue. Now here you have a bigger sample. That's an experiment I ran with the Facebook friends of my husband.
What we're trying to show is that you actually confirmed for us the false consensus effect.
And here you clearly see that if you divide the people according to their own preference, so people who prefer blue and people who prefer everything else than blue, and their estimated percentage of how many people they think have blue as a favorite color, the ones who themselves prefer blue think that that is somewhere between 40 and 50%, whereas the ones who themselves do not prefer blue think that it's only about 30%. So this is the false consensus effect, that people think that others prefer the same color as they do.
We also asked our guinea pigs to fill out a survey on TAC versus effort restrictions and selective versus balance harvesting to see if we could corroborate the false consensus results also on fisheries topics.
The results of one of our guinea pigs, for example, Eskild. So this is the question about effort versus TAC. And we see that he himself thinks that TAC is more effective, and he thinks that only 33% of people think that effort is more effective. Again, you see that people who themselves favor effort restriction think that over 50% do so. Of course, there's a very high variance here and the sample size is low, but the people who favor TACs, they think that very few people actually favor effort restriction. So that's again the false consensus effect corroborated.
Do you think that the idea of the false consensus effect, that we think that our colleagues also think the same as us, is relevant for ICES advice, or the combination of the science and the formation of the new advice?
It certainly has an influence. So whether it's an important, by important you mean whether it's relevant, yeah. That's for sure, because I can see it's happening.
Okay. Is there anything here that surprises you, or you think that
almost all of this is dogma driven and it's ideology, and within the science context, and this is one of the big issues with expert judgment, we're challenged all the time.
Percent of your colleagues have like balance harvesting, and you do. So this is a direct confirmation.
Yeah.
Do you understand this false consensus?
Yeah,
effect?
yeah, I do.
Do you think there's anything surprising about it?
No, not at all.
How do you think it relates to ICES? Perhaps science and advice.
I think it's relevant in every context, really. I mean, it's not just in science. Of course, I mean, we react as humans here in ICES as well as other places.
The idea of the false consensus effect could be relevant for ICES, for example, translating science into advice. What's your gut feeling?
Yeah, it could maybe have a little impact. That could well be. I would still hope that there would be so many people in a room so that from that discussion we would challenge each other and say that maybe you don't like blue, but I do, and from that discussion we would then be able to have that dialogue. Yeah.
Very much
I'm going to shake your hand and go stop.
That's the good thing about a GoPro. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for participating. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.